All right. What's going on, you guys? Happy Sunday. Today is March 15th, 2026. Um, we are about 8 days away from the 32nd year anniversary of the release of Above the Rim, the legendary film featuring Tupac Shakur, Marlon Wayans, the actor Dwayne Martin. And the reason I wanted to document this and live stream this video is because this is definitely a good video something to just keep in mind when you're trying to look into the NBA Finals, because what they did in 1994 with this film and the finals where the Houston Rockets beat the Knicks is more proof of how they keep rigging the games around the same numbers, right? Every year around the NBA Finals we talk about the number 213 because the NBA Finals equals 213, and that was a big number in this movie because from the release of this film to the day that the NBA Finals concluded. Actually, I'll take that back. The NBA Finals concluded on June 22nd, 1994, and that was 213 days before Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday, the star player for the Rockets. And in gematria, the NBA Finals equals 213. Special number, that number has a lot to do with Tupac as well, which we'll get into. But what I'm going to show you guys in this video is how this movie, it was foreshadowing not only the death of Tupac, but it was also foreshadowing who was gonna win in the NBA Finals. Again, this movie came out in March in the year '94. The NBA Finals started on June 8th that same year. So, suppose nobody knew who the NBA Finals matchup was gonna be when this movie came out, right? Obviously now we can tell because it all finished developing. But what I want you guys to get out of this video is just to remember the numbers that we're going to discuss, because these are the same numbers that show up every single year in the NBA postseason. All right, so let's get started. Look at this. The big number with the death of Tupac Shakur. If you guys haven't, first of all, if you haven't seen this movie, this is a classic basketball film. I definitely recommend it. There's a lot of violence in it though, so if you're like a little pussycat, I don't think you should watch it. But if you don't mind the violence, this is definitely a good movie to watch. Very entertaining, but there's a deeper message in the movie, which is what I'm gonna expose in this video. So the big number with the death of Tupac Shakur, as you guys should know, because I've done videos about Tupac in the past, it was the number 139. Right, because in gematria, Tupac Shakur equals 139. He died on 13/9 on the 13th of September. That's a special number to Freemasonry as well. Freemasonry equals a 139 and 158, like the name Tupac Shakur. But you guys see how his name equals 68. The NBA Finals that year, it was on June 8th. Of course, basketball also equals 68. And his name is also 40. And the film came out exactly 40 weeks after Tupac's birthday. He was born June 16th. So from his last birthday prior to the film releasing, which was June 16th, 1993, to the day that the film came out on March 23rd, 1994, if you notice here, it was 40 weeks exactly. 40 weeks. The name Tupac Shakur equals 40. So his name had the 40 encoded in it. The movie comes out 40 weeks after his birthday. It also came out on a date with 139 numerology, which was indication that he was going to get killed on 13/9, because that's exactly what happened. He ended up dying on the 13th of September, 2 years later, in 1996. And this was the postseason bracket. Notice the Rockets, they went against the New York Knicks. The movie takes place in New York City, above the rim. And this series went 7 games. And again, it ended on June 22nd. That was 213 days before Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday. He was born on January 21st, 1963. And just notice, June 22nd, that was the day, that was Game 7, the day the Rockets won the championship, 213 days before his birthday. And again, that number not only is it significant to the finals, but that was also a big number with Tupac, right? Because remember, he put out All Eyes on Me on 213, died 213 days after the release of that album in a drive-by shooting, when drive-by shooting is also 213, like death. Similar to Biggie Smalls, who also died in a 213 ritual 213 days after his daughter's birthday. I just want to pull up the screenshot. But yeah, but notice Tupac Shakur is 139 and 158 like Freemasonry. But yeah, this was a 213 ritual with Tupac Shakur. He put out All Eyes on Me on February 13th, 1996. From that date to his demise, it was 213 days later. Drive-by shooting is 213. Death is 213. Racism is 213. Black Panther is 213. Black History Month is 213. He died in February. And his mother was a Black Panther. But yeah, so think about that, right? So the NBA Finals ends 213 days after the birthday of Hakeem Olajuwon. Before the birthday of Hakeem Olajuwon on June 22nd. And notice this pairing. From Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday to the release of the film, it was 61 days. So they put out the movie 61 days after his birthday, the star player of the Rockets. Of course, finals is 61, and so is New York Knicks. So they was encoding the two opponents in the movie, right? So they put out the movie 61 days after the star player of the Rockets' birthday, the gematria of New York Knicks in finals. And again, they put it out by the numbers on a day with 139 numerology, the number that connects to the star of the film, Tupac Shakur, who ended up dying on 13/9. And this was the indication that it was going to be the Rockets. So they gave us a 61. But notice from the release of the film to the start of the NBA Finals, the movie came out 77 days before the finals started on June 8th. And what we know about that number, Houston equals 77. So they was letting us know that Houston was going to be in the NBA Finals on June 8th. And again, star player of the Rockets, born on January 21st. And the movie comes out 61 days after his birthday. And the finals, going back to that 139 number, look how perfect this stuff is, right? All the numbers that had everything to do with Tupac Shakur. It's mind-blowing, really, but, some people still call this stuff coincidental. Hakeem Olajuwon, again, he born on January 21st. The finals started on June 8th. The finals began on his 139th day of his age. So it started on his 139th day of his age, the numbers that are associated with the death of Tupac, and it concluded 213 days before his birthday, the numbers associated with the death of Tupac, because he died in a 213 ritual. Above the rim. Really, really impressive how they put all this stuff together and how they are able to connect all of it. It just, even though I've been doing this for almost 8 years now, probably even more than that, 2018. So 2017, I started learning about it. Yeah, so almost 10 years, over 8 years now. I've been studying this stuff and it still blows my mind sometimes because I'm like, damn, the way they put these pieces together, like they have Tupac come in, boom. They have him connected to the finals. This probably was the biggest basketball movie that came out in '94. There were others, like I think Blue Chips came out that year. Another film called Hoop Dreams also came out that year. Blue Chips is with Shaq. That wasn't. I mean, I've heard of it. I never watched that film. I don't think it's as good as this one. I think this was definitely by far the best movie of the year. And notice they put the nice little Twin Towers in there. There's probably some symbolism with that as well. But yeah, so the movie takes place in New York City, right? They have the New York Knicks in the finals that year. The movie comes out 77 days before the finals. And then they have the 77 team in the finals. And then it starts on the perfect date, June 8th, a number that's associated with basketball, because basketball equals 68, a number that's also associated with the star of the film, The 139 matters because the final starts on the 139th day of Hakeem Olajuwon's age. Tupac also ends up dying on 13/9. The movie comes out on 139 day numerology. Numbers definitely important to Masonry. And then it ends in a 213 ritual. Man, look. The NBA Finals 213. Remember, these are the numbers that show up every single year. So it's not just the 1994 NBA Finals. The NBA Finals. All right, look at this. The NBA Finals 213, right? Look, in that same cipher, drive-by shooting, 213. Black History Month. He died during February. No, actually, he put out his All Eyes on Me album in the month of February. Black History Month is also 213. So is Black Panther. His mother was a Black Panther. Black Panther is also the same. Black Panther is the same as the NBA Finals. Yeah, drive-by shooting and Black History Month, 213 and 78. I just want to take a look at one thing before we go into the next thing because I didn't check what season was that. The NBA Finals, the 1994 NBA season. It was the 48th NBA season. That connects, right? The NBA Finals is 48, like Black Panther. So the NBA Finals, look at that. So the 48th NBA season ends 213 days before Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday. That's significant. The season ended with the Houston Rockets defeating the New York Knicks 4-3. Of course, Hakeem wore number 34. The series ended 3-4. Let's see if I can. There was something else that I think I missed. Yeah, what NBA Finals was that? I know that was the 48th NBA season. What number finals was the 1994 NBA Finals? Okay, so yeah, so it was the 48th NBA season. Okay, I just wanted to double check. Okay, and now there's another number that's important to this ritual, and that's the number 91. And notice Rockets equals 91. Rockets. I'm not sure if I put it in my notes, but was it 91 days? Let's see. So the movie came out again. It came out on March 23rd, 1994, and from that date to the conclusion of the NBA Finals, yeah, it was 91 days. Okay, so that's what the 91 was. All right, so movie comes out on March 23rd. The finals ends on June 22nd, 91 days after the release of the film. When Rockets equals 91, they won the NBA Finals against the New York Knicks. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they won the finals in New York. No, they won it in Houston. So the game was in Houston on June 22nd, 1994. They were 33 in numerology. How about that? When the NBA Finals is 33. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. And yeah, and there's probably a lot more symbolism in this film, but I found that very interesting because I was watching this movie. I was like, let me look into Let me look into this movie because I never did a decode on it, and look at that, foreshadowing the death of Tupac, foreshadowing who's gonna win the finals, and something I found interesting. Right, the name of the tournament. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. They was playing a tournament for money. I guess Tupac lost, so he ended up shooting up the tournament, and the name of the tournament was called Shootout. I want you guys to look at the gematria of Shootout. Don't these numbers look very familiar? It's also 34, like the number Hakeem used to wear. Maybe that's an accident, but these numbers are very, very, very consistent in murders and deaths and killings. The word murder equals 34, 38, and 83. Just like shootout. Think about a shootout in real life. It ends in murder. Or people at least people getting injured, right? But still, it's just funny how, a shooter and think about Tupac died in a shootout, right? But look, shootout is the same as murder in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. That shows you how they're encoding the language. But again, when in alignment to these numbers, right? Yeah, but the 48th NBA season ends 213 days before Hakeem Olajuwon's birthday. And keep in mind Hakeem was 31 when he won the finals with the Rockets. Houston equals 31. Houston loves 31. Okay, so the last thing I want to check is I want to look at the NBA schedule on March 23rd when the movie came out because the NBA was going on. So what? Let me see. NBA box score on March 23rd, 1994. Let's see what comes up. See if the Rockets play that day. So the Rockets did not play on the day that the movie came out. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's it. Just wanted to show you guys that these same numbers show up over and over again. We talked about 139 and Tupac, and almost all the videos that I've done about Tupac. I've noticed a new 139 connection, and this is the latest one. His Above the Rim film came out on a 139 day numerology, and then it was synced up with Hakeem in a 139 ritual. All right, you guys. Good luck today on the WBC World Baseball Classic. Today is 42 days before Aaron Judge's birthday. Let's see what he does when the name Aaron Judge is 42. Um, People telling me it's gonna be USA versus Venezuela. I mean, isn't it obvious that might be the matchup? I mean, pay attention to what's going on in the news. For those of you who think, oh, it's not rigged, it's not scripted. I mean, come on. The U.S. beating down Venezuela on Tuesday is just mockery if that is the matchup. But doesn't matter if it's Italy or Venezuela. The U.S. will win on Tuesday, you guys. So put your money on DR if you like, but I don't recommend it. All right, you guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace.